All right, let's dive in. We're heading into Japanese folklore today.
Sounds exciting.
It is. We're tackling the Kirin, maybe kind of like a Japanese unicorn.
I see where you're going with that.
But get ready, there's a twist. It's way more symbolic, way more culturally significant.
Definitely.
So we're going to use this YouTube video, kind of walk through it, and unravel the whole Kirin mystery.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So first things first, what does this thing even look like?
Well, right off the bat, it's chimerical. Like, it's a total mashup of different animals.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the details.
Often, it's got a deer body, but then, boom, it's covered in these shimmering dragon scales.
Whoa, hold on. Deer and dragon. That's a wild combo.
And there's more. You've got a flowing oxtail, powerful horse hooves, and, of course, you can't forget the horn.
The horn, right, like a unicorn. But sometimes it's got two horns.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes one, sometimes two. It depends on the depiction.
So, like, every artist got their own take on it.
Exactly. Reflects different interpretations, regional styles, all that.
That makes sense. So it's like a greatest hits of mythical creatures all rolled into one.
You could say that.
And in the video, they talk about this flaming mane and these scales that like shimmer with light.
It's a pretty striking image.
No wonder it's considered a good omen, harbinger of good fortune, right?
Absolutely. The Kirin is all about good fortune, deep-rooted connection there. It shows up at like super important moments, like the birth of a great leader or like the start of a whole new era.
Wow. So like if a Kirin shows up, something big is happening.
Exactly. In fact, if a Kirin appeared before a Japanese emperor, that was like huge. It was a sign of divine legitimacy, basically.
Whoa. So not just any ruler gets a Kirin visit.
Not at all. It's like, the universe itself is giving you the thumbs up.
That's intense. But it makes me wonder, like, what if a Kirin didn't show up? Was that ever a problem for a ruler?
That's a fascinating question. I haven't specifically come across examples of like political turmoil because the Kirin was a no-show.
Right.
But, you can imagine, right, if a ruler was supposed to have this like divine seal of approval and it never came, that could definitely raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, people would be talking.
It shows you just how powerful the Kirin symbolism.
Yeah, it's like these myths weren't just stories. They were woven into like the fabric of their society, even their politics.
For sure.
But, okay, back to the Kirin itself. It's not just about good omens and emperors, right? This video also says Kirin sightings are super weird.
Exactly. It's not like you just bump into one on your afternoon walk.
Right.
That rarity just adds to the whole mystique,
Oh, totally.
A Kirin sighting, that's not just a random encounter. It's a deliberate sign, a message from somewhere beyond.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What kind of message?
Well, think about it. This isn't some, fearsome beast rampaging through the countryside.
Right. It's not Godzilla.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Kirin is about peace, about justice. There's even this image of it walking so lightly it doesn't even crush a blade of grass.
Whoa, serious. That's some serious mindfulness right there.
Right. It's a symbol of respect for all life,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's benevolent, doesn't harm anything, unless it absolutely has to.
Unless it's like defending the innocent,
Yeah.
right? Like a true superhero.
Exactly. It's the embodiment of the ideal ruler. In a way.
So it's not just power, it's the right kind of power.
Precisely. And speaking of that, the video mentions how the Kirin is drawn to places where there's virtue and good governance.
It's like a cosmic seal of approval, not just for a ruler, but for a whole society.
You got it. The Kirin's presence, it's like a validation of a society's, its moral compass, you could say.
Wow. Can you imagine like politicians today being judged not by polls, but by whether a Kirin shows up?
Now, that's an election I'd like.
Me too. But okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've got this creature, powerful, just a symbol of good stuff. But the video also says it's a bridge between worlds.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
It can like travel between the heavens and
It's
earth.
just a divine messenger, a conduit between the human and the divine.
So hang on. We've got powerful, just a messenger of the gods, and now an interdimensional traveler. This thing does it all.
It's a multitasker for sure. And there's actually one more layer to this whole thing.
Okay, lay it on me.
You familiar with the Chinese Kirin?
Vaguely.
Well, that creature, it was a major inspiration for the Japanese Kirin. It's really interesting, this whole cultural exchange thing.
So the Japanese like borrowed the idea, but then made it their own.
Exactly. They took the concept, reshaped it, made it fit their own aesthetic, their own cultural values. Fascinating how that happened.
Well, it's like a cultural remix.
Exactly. Borrow, adapt, transform, and boom, you've got something new.
I love it. So we've got all these layers of symbolism, cultural influences, but the Kirin's not just some abstract myth, right?
Oh, no. It's all over Japanese art and culture. Paintings, sculptures, you name it. even children's stories.
Oh, wow, really? So it's like woven into their everyday life.
Very much so.
There's that dance the video mentioned, the Kirin Shishimai.
It's a lively one, for sure. Full of energy.
And Kirin images show up at New Year's and harvest festivals, too.
Absolutely. It's there to bring good luck, prosperity, harmony, all those good things.
It's like a reminder of that connection to nature, to the divine.
Exactly.
Okay, but here's a question. All this stuff, is it just tradition now? Or do people, like, really believe in it?
I think deep down, a lot of it still resonates. Japan's a modern country, but that respect for tradition, it runs deep.
It's like it's part of their DNA.
You could say that.
And it's not just preserved, it's being reinvented. The Kirin's showing up in pop culture too, like movies, video games, all that.
That's right. It's proof that this myth, it's still relevant, still captures the imagination.
It's more than just like a cool-looking creature.
Oh, way more. It represents these values, justice, compassion, peace, harmony with nature, things that resonate across cultures, across time.
It's like a symbol of hope for a better world.
Exactly. In a world that often feels, well, let's face it, kind of messed up, these values and the creature that embodies them, they have a powerful pull.
Yeah, I can see that. So the Kirin, it's not just a glimpse into Japanese folklore.
It's a reflection of our own aspiration.
Our hopes for a better world.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's almost like the Kirin's this mythical mirror, reflecting back, like what we want to be.
I like that.
And it takes me back to that whole bridge between worlds thing, like that connection to something bigger.
It definitely speaks to that, this idea that there's, like a cosmic order, something beyond just us.
And it makes me think the Kirin only shows up in like well-governed places, right? So does that mean it also like represents the ideal ruler?
That's a really good point. The Kirin isn't just watching,
Yeah.
It's like it's an active part of it all, a symbol of how power should be used.
Right, like showing up for an emperor, it wasn't just a coincidence.
No, it was a validation, like saying, hey, you're doing this right.
It's not just about having power, it's about what you do with it.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to how the Kirin's part of everyday life in Japan. We talked about that Kirin Shishimai dance.
Oh, yeah.
And then those Kirin images at New Year's, the Harvest Festival.
So it's about more than just blessings,
Okay. How so?
It ties into a prosperity, good fortune, harmony between humans, nature, and the divine.
But do people, like, really still believe in all that?
Japan's gone through a lot of change, but that respect for tradition, it's strong.
So even today, those old beliefs, they still matter.
I think so, yeah.
It's like those myths, they're part of their cultural DNA or something.
Well put.
And it's not just about preserving the past, right? The Kirin's showing up in modern stuff, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like in movies, video games, all that.
It's proof that, even centuries later, the Kirin can still grab our attention.
That's got to be more than just a cool design.
Definitely.
Why do you think it sticks with us like that?
Well, those values the Kirin embodies.
Yes.
Justice, compassion, peace, those resonate with people, no matter where you come from, what time you live in.
It's like a universal hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a world that often feels, pretty chaotic, right?
Oh.
Those values,
yeah.
The creature that represents them, they become even more powerful.
It's like the Kirin shows us what we could be.
Exactly. It's not just a look into Japanese folklore. It's a look into, into ourselves.
Into those things we all, like, deep down want to see in the world.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's funny. After, like, all this time talking about the Kirin, it really,
What do you mean?
It's more than just a cool mythical creature, right?
Oh, yeah,
It's like a symbol of all the good stuff. Justice, compassion, balance, all that.
Yeah, it ties into those big ideas that we as humans kind of always reach.
And it's not just a Japanese thing either, right? It's like these values, they're universal.
Absolutely.
It makes me wonder, like, if we explore more myth from all over the world, maybe we'd find more of those common threads, those things that connect us all.
Yeah, I think so. Myths, they give us a peek into, like, the human psyche, what we've always cared about.
It's like a cultural conversation, almost.
That's a great way to put it.
Sharing values, beliefs through story. And in a world that, sometimes feels pretty divided,
Yeah.
That kind of like shared understanding feels more important than ever.
Couldn't agree more.
So we've come to the end of our Kirin deep dive, but I feel like for me, it's just the beginning,
Oh, yeah, totally.
There's a whole world of myths out there
Yeah.
just waiting to be explored.
And every myth we uncover, we learn a little more, not just about the world, but about ourselves, too. I think that's pretty amazing.
I'm with you there. So until next time, fellow deep divers, keep on exploring, keep on asking those questions, and most importantly, keep on diving deep.
See you on the next dive.